Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering using ytfzf with taskspooler so we can queue up audio and video from YouTube and play it in external video players. Now ytfzf is a command line application that lets you search YouTube, and as you can see from this graphic here, it brings up a list of videos you can choose from and then it opens the video player. And taskspooler is a command line application that allows you to queue up commands to be executed one after another. What I'm going to do is show you how ytfzf works by default. If I run the -P option, it's going to display the thumbnail. So distro tube. Let's go for got blue. Got blue. And this is going to search YouTube just like you would from the search box on YouTube, and it's going to display the thumbnails. You can see here is a video on ytfzf, and what's going to happen is when I press return, you can see here it says opening MPV player, and it opens the video up. But the issue that I have with this is, as you can see here, we've got MPV's on-screen display in the terminal here, so we can't use this terminal until this video is finished. So if I quit the video, you see the terminal's released. So that's the issue, is that it's hogging the terminal once it opens the video. So what I'm going to do is switch across to the ytfzf configuration file, and I'll just come across to ytfzf and show you where that is. Okay, so if you come into docs here, wait for it to load up a second, you'll see config.sh, which is this file. Put it into raw, save the page as, and basically what you do is you put it into your .config ytfzf folder, which you have to create, and then you can edit the options. And what I'm going to do is show you the options that we're interested in, which is the video player. So ytfzf has two video players defined, video player and audio player, and they both use MPV player. Now MPV player does have an option to a playlist option that allows you to queue up videos or audio to be played, but I don't think it's enabled by default here in the config. And what I'm going to do is uncomment that option, and I'm going to comment that option out and uncomment this option here, video player, which I've set to the name of the script I created called Sauron. And this is what it's going to do. Basically, I'll come back here, I'll disable the thumbnails just for speed. And you can see here we've got the list of videos. So I'm going to press return, and what happens is we now get an additional menu saying pipe links to, and then we have four different options: audio, download, full screen, or video. And beside each one, it's got a short description of basically what it does. And these all use taskspooler to queue up the commands to be executed. So it'll work with single links or multiple links that you've selected in the FZF menu. So audio, what that's going to do is it's going to run a script I wrote called pinch, and it's basically going to extract the audio from the YouTube video and send it to MPD player. And the next option is download, which is going to download the video. Full screen, what that's going to do is it's going to open MPV full screen on your second display, whereas the next option, video, will open MPV on the current display. So we've got two different video players. You can create as many as you like, and basically all I have to do is run the option I want. So I can just type V, and it's going to open the video on this display, on the current display here. And as you can see, the terminal is not being hogged by MPV player. As soon as I selected the option I wanted to use, it opens the video and releases the terminal, which is what we want. So we can carry on using the terminal while the actual video is playing, instead of it needlessly showing the on-screen display. So that's the first option we've got. What I'm going to do is come back and come across here, and let's do this one. And what I'm going to do now is audio. So what I do is just starts typing A for audio. And what it's going to do now.
All right, this one's going to be on ytfzf.
As you can see, that's playing. That's sent the audio here. It's given us a pop-up menu, a desktop notification with the name of the bit of audio that's being played, and it's going to open and start playing it in MPD player. And I'm just using NC MPC, which is a client for MPD, so I can play and pause the audio. So what I'll do now is show you queuing up multiple bits of audio, and then multiple video, and then go through the actual script and how it works and how you can set stuff up. So what you can do with ytfzf is by using the tab button, you can actually create multiple selections. You can use the arrow keys to move up and down. So say I want to select this, I'll move the cursor here, press tab. You can see it's now sort of indented with a little icon showing that it's been selected. I'll now select another one. So I've got two selections there. I press return, and now I'm going to pipe this to MPD. And what you can see here, now playing.
All right, this one's going to be on ytfzf. It's a
so I'm just going to pause that. So basically what you can see is it's showing the name of the video. It will show two different kinds of notifications. It will show if there's nothing playing and it starts playing a bit of audio, it's going to say now playing. And then for the next one, it's going to stay queuing. And so this is the first bit of audio, and this is the second bit. So they're actually in the correct order. So that's how we can queue up multiple bits of audio. Now let's do the same thing with video. Let's go with distro tube, distro change. Okay, so let's select a couple of things we want to queue up. Let's queue up some stuff I know let's queue up these 3 videos here. Let's return. And what I'm going to do now is select video. So I can just type V. You don't have to type the whole thing out. You can see as I start typing V, it's highlighted here to indicate that's the selection we're going to use. So just type V. Okay, and you can see it's here. Right. So what I just want to show you is you can see here in the command line, what's happening is it's passing in 3 different URLs. Okay. So what's going to happen is this is the first video. I quit that. Give it a second.
I've had a
few. Next video. Quit that. And
here in the last couple.
Okay, simple. So that's the advantage. Is that we can queue up commands to be executed, and we can just quit the video, and then it's going to move on to the next one. And also, it's not going to it's going to release your terminal as soon as you run the command to select your choice. It's going to pass that off to taskspooler, and I can run TSP, and this is taskspooler, and this is basically going to show a list of tasks that I've run. And these are basically different audio, bits of video that I've played with different players or audio players from YouTube here. So you can see all the sort of the stuff that's been executed in the state here. And I can just clear that TSP-C. So that's how that works. So what I can also do is queue up multiple things to be displayed full screen. So what I'm going to do is just come across here and see if I can set this up. So what I want to do now is switch to the laptop. Yeah. Okay. I think that's working. Is that working? Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is run ytfzf here and queue up videos that will be displayed on the second display. So ytfzf, and let's pick something else. Let's just go for DistroTube, just so we don't have any issues with copyright or what have you. So what I'm going to do now is just select some videos. Tab, 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 tab. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to select the full screen option and then switch back here and switch back to screen 2.
I've had a few viewers of the channel.
Quit that. And
here in the last couple of weeks.
Screen. Quit that. There's 4 videos.
Today I'm going to be
next video. Quit that. And finally the last one. So that's how we can queue up multiple videos. You can see here it's opening player, running the script, and then it's passing in all these different videos. What I want to do now is actually go through how this all works after showing you how the different options you can choose from. I'm going to show you the script, but basically there's only a couple of things you need to actually get set up. So let's first of all go through and look at setting up ytfzf. So basically just come across to the link, open it up, go to raw, save page as ytfzf, right? And again, the same thing for the config file. Open it as raw and save page as conf.sh. So what we then need to do is actually put those in the correct directory. So in your bin directory, ls bin, and let's do it in ls l bin trading slash. So we've got ytfzf in our bin directory. So that's the first step. The next step you need to do is actually create the configuration directory for ytfzf in your .config directory. So make directory -p config ytfzf. So you need to create that configuration folder first, and then basically you put the conf.sh file in there. So those are the things we need to set up ytfzf. Now the next step is actually editing the configuration file and setting the video player to the script, and obviously installing the script. So we'd come through here and you just need to search for video player, and we're going to change that to Sauron. And what I'm going to do now is show you the installing the script. Across the raw, you can download the you could download my bin directory if you want with Git, but basically just come across to this page, which I'll put a link to under the video. Save page as Sauron. Okay, and then basically all you need to do is move that into your bin directory. This bin. So we can see we've got the script here, and the next thing you need to do is make it executable. So change mod +x bin Sauron. Okay. So once we've done that, we've got everything set up. What I'll do is actually go through the script. So this is the configuration file for ytfzf, and then said the only thing we need to do in this is actually uncomment the default video player option and set the video player to be equal to Sauron. And I'll open that script now and go through this script. So this is a shell script, and basically if the scripts run without any arguments, we exit. Now the first thing here is the input. This is a variable that's going to be set to printf, and this here. What this is this is the number of arguments passed to the script. Let me see if I've still got the no. You saw when I played the video, it was saying opening video player Sauron, and then it had a list of URLs after it. Each one of those is an argument passed to the script. The first URL would be $1, second would be $2, and so on. But there is a but we want to capture all of the scripts that are passed from ytfzf. So we use the $@, and that equals all the arguments passed to the script. So what this is, this variable input is going to be equal to all of the arguments passed from ytfzf to the Sauron script. That is going to be a list of the URLs, and what we're going to do is we're using printf to sort of format them in a way that we can use later on. Then what we have is a series of functions that I'll come back to in a second. So first of all, what we have down here is we've got some variables that we use to create the prompt. So we've got these 4 variables, and these basically print out audio, MPD, play, audio, download, full screen, and MPV. You see they've all got spaces like this, and the reason for that is so that they all line up in the prompt, so that when you view this in FZF, all these dashes will actually line up. So the next thing that we do is we're actually creating an FZF prompt, and what we're going to do is we're creating a prompt that will allow us to choose a function to run on the links from YouTube. So first of all, we're creating a variable called menu, and what we're doing is we're using printf to print out all these variables that we've created above. So audio, play, MPV, MPD, play, audio, download, full screen video. So you can see these are all the variables in double quotes. So what that's going to do is that's going to print out 4 separate arguments, all separated by a sort of new line. And then what we're doing is we're piping those into FZF with the delimiter set to be the new line character, and we're creating a prompt that says pipe links to, and we're running some options like info in line, which has a bit more compact view, layout reverse, which puts the prompt at the top of the screen, and no multi, so that we can't have multiple selections. So let me just switch back to ytfzf and run the script so you get a better idea of what this code does. So ytfzf, let's just do loop. Okay, so let's just select one here, and you can see this is the prompt that we are creating. So we've got the pipe links to, and as I said, we've got these options here which all line up, and these are the variables here. So these are the variables that we created, and this is the menu. So you can see that's the menu, and we have, the important thing was to have all of these obviously separate, not as like audio, video, one thing, one big thing selected. That's why we need to put these in double quotes, these variables in double quotes, so it's actually printing out 4 separate items. Whereas if they were all in, you had all of these inside one set of double quotes, it would just be one selection, if that makes sense. So this is how we create the menu. using these variables typed into FZF. And basically what that's going to do is the output is going to be whatever you've selected. So see, we've got audio, download, full screen or video. So these are the options here. And what we're going to do is, based on what you've selected here, we're going to run a particular function. So let me just exit that. So what we've got down here is a case statement. And you can say case menu in. So menu is the variable for the FZF prompt, showing those audio download, full screen video options. So what we're going to do is we're basically setting some variables that the case statement will match. So if you choose audio, what's going to happen is when you choose audio in the menu, it's going to output audio. It's going to output this string here, audio TSP, audio MPD play audio. Yeah. So what we're doing is we are then matching that by saying audio asterisk, which is a wildcard. So that's going to match all the white space and the dash MPD play audio. Downloads is going to match this downloads here. Full screen is going to match this, and video is going to match this. What we've then got is basically a way of creating a menu to allow you to choose a function to run on a set of links from YouTube. So what this will then do is say we have the menu, which you can choose your option. That's then going to print out the name of the option you've chosen, whether it's audio, downloads, full screen or video, and it's going to be matched by this case statement. Once it's matched, it's then going to run the functions to the right of this. So we've got audio function, the download function, the full screen function, and the video function, and those correspond to these functions up here. So what we've got is four separate functions to do different tasks, and what they're doing is they're taking the input, which, as I said, is the number of arguments passed to the script, which is going to be all the URLs from ytfzf. And what we're doing is we're printing the input separated by new lines. So what that's going to do is that's going to put each URL on a new line, which is what we want. That's the format we want. And then what we're going to do is we're saying while read line. So what this is doing is it's taking in the input. So if it's 3 lines, 3 URLs and different lines, it's going to go through the input, and it's going to, each time it finds a line, it's then going to execute this command here. So it's going to go through the input, find the first link, run this bit of code, go through, find the second link, run this bit of code again, and so on. And basically what this will do, the first one is the audio. The TSP stands for taskspooler. And basically what that does is that will then run the pinch script, which I've covered in previous videos, which takes the audio from YouTube links and sends it to MPD with the line. And the line is going to be the URL. So the line is going to correspond to the URLs that's being sort of parsed through using the while read line. So it's going to run taskspooler pinch-i, which is the URL, and we're sending standard output to dev null, just so we don't have anything displayed in the terminal. So it's going to go through, find the first link, it's going to send it to MPD, it's going to play it, it's going to go through, find the second link, because something's playing, it's going to queue it, and so on for all the links that you pass it. So that's how the audio one works. The download is the same bit of code, except we're running YouTube DL, and I'm running the -- ignore config option because I have in your YouTube DL configuration, file, you can specify an external downloader like ARIA2C. But what I found is that ARIA2C cuts out a lot with videos actually hosted on YouTube. So that's why I'm using the ignore config. You can specify any configuration options you want for YouTube DL. Basically, it's going to do the same thing for every URL in the input in the arguments. It's going to run YouTube DL on. What I'll do is not spend too much time on the downloading. I'll move on to MPV full screen and on the current display. So the full screen, you can see all this code is exactly the same. It's just the chunk of code underneath the do. So again, these are all prefixed with TSP. So they're basically taskspooler is basically just going to have a list of these commands, and when one's finished, it's going to just queue up the next one. So for the full screen, we're running NPV with the -fs option, which specifies full screen, and then we can specify the screen that we want the video to go full screen on. It's a 0-based index, so 0 would be your first display and 1 is your second. So I've got the laptop plugged into a larger display, so the larger display is going to be screen 1. So what this means is, as I showed you, it's basically when you queue up stuff to be played full screen on screen 1, it's just going to go full screen on your main display. When the video stops, it's going to queue up the next one and start playing it. And again, the way this works is we're printing the input, which is the arguments passed to the script from ytfzf, and these are all going to be on a different line, the URLs, and we basically say read line. It's going to go through the first one, it's going to find the first link, it's going to queue it up with TSP, run MPV full screen on your main display, and then it's going to go through and find the second link, it's going to queue it up with TSP, and so on and so on. And basically, when one video ends, what happens is the video stops, you return to the desktop, then the next video is queued up and goes full screen automatically. So that's useful because quite often you'll open a video, like on your laptop screen, and you'll have to move it across to your main display and put it full screen and stuff. That takes care of all that. Now, the next option we have is the video option. And basically what this is doing is this is using MPV with the --no-terminal option. And what that does is it suppresses the on-screen display that would appear in the terminal that launched MPV. So that will stop it hogging the terminal and allow us to continue using the terminal to get on with some work or whatever we want to do. And exactly the same thing, TSP, MPV, no terminal, and the line, which is going to be the current line with the URL, it's just going to queue them up and play them one after the other. So let's go back and have a look at that again, to make sure it sort of sticks and you can see what I'm getting on about. So this is ytfzf, how it would normally be. You can search for stuff like this, tab it, move down, tab another one, and then now when I press return, what's going to happen is, let me just shift back here. Big ytfzf config. Okay. So first of all, in the sort of plumbing, as it were, first bit of plumbing is we're replacing the default video player with our script, the Sauron script. So when we get to this stage, it's now this is the external video player as it we've created, and this is the sort of list of options we can use, which basically are functions that we're going to perform on the links. So we can select audio, download, full screen video. So So if I select video here, what you can see is it's queued up 2 links here. Right, so you can see it's opened up MPV using the no terminal option. So you can see there's no on-screen display fogging the terminal, which we don't need because we can see all the information actually in the video player. So there's no need to duplicate it in the terminal. When I quit this, what's going to happen? Give it a second. It opens the next one, and again, I can put this full screen, move it around, do whatever, but it's going to open the video on the current display. So that's the video option. And again, we can do the same thing. Let's just select 3 random things there. Now we can pipe them to the audio. Yep.
Hey, you like video games? You do? Well, Linux don't got no video games, so
Got that. We can move on to the next one.
all right, this one's gonna be on.
On to the next one.
All right, this one's gonna be on.
Here and quit that. So that's piping stuff into MPD using the audio function. You can see here what I'm on about. The way this works: opening the player and it's passing all these links to the player, passing multiple links. And if I open up TSP, you can see here the commands that I've run in taskspooler that is queued up basically. So what happens is each one of these has an ID, so like a job number. It's going to have a state, so like finished, queued, in progress or something, the time and the command. So that's taskspooler, and GotBlue's done a really good section of videos on those. So those are the options from the script. So let's just go through this again. We're taking the input from the arguments, which are going to be the URLs. We've got the functions here, which are then going to go through the input line by line and then pass the link to taskspooler with a particular option, like for audio or for video downloading. So those are all the different functions. Here's the full screen. Here's the no video option. And then what we did was basically we created 4 different variables to contain the prompt information: audio, download, full screen, video. And again, we put the spaces here and the dashes, which, as I showed you, that's all going to line up actually in the FZF prompt. Then we create the menu variable, and we then pipe in, print out rather the those 4 variables, each surrounded by double quotes. So that's basically going to print out all these 4 options and then pipe them into FZF and use the new line character as a delimiter, so that they're all on separate lines. Okay, and then finally what we do is we have the case statement, which runs, says case menu in, so that's the menu. The menu is going to be storing the output of what we've chosen. So if we've chosen audio, menu is going to be equal to audio. It's actually going to be equal to audio dash MPD play audio, and the same for all these other options. That menu is going to store your selection. We then run the case statement and match your selection, and then run a function based on your selection. So the audio, you select audio, it's going to run the audio function. Video, it's going to run the video function. And these are the functions that it's going to run. And as I said, just going to go through the input line, the URLs one by one, and then send them to taskspooler to queue up audio or video with our different players. So that's basically how the script works, and how we can get the output from ytfzf into another program, and then basically run different functions on our links that we've chosen. So let me just switch back. Just show you the difference once again from how it would normally work to the new version. So ytfzf, let's do sneezing panda or something. Okay, so by default, this is what would happen with ytfzf. I'd press return. Second, it opens a video, but it's hogging the terminal. And we can't do anything with the terminal till we quit. So what we do is just comment that out, change the video player, and now when I press return, I'm presented with these options. So I can just type video, and this is going to open it in the current display. And you can see no on-screen display hogging the terminal. We can carry on using it, and it's got the video played up here. So that's how we can sort of abuse the external video player functionality of ytfzf to run our own script on the output from ytfzf and basically create a menu that will basically allow us to choose particular functions to run on what we selected, because you might you can start ytfzf with, I think it's the -m option for audio only, but you might not, you might forget, or you might select a video and go, I want to play that in an audio player after you've actually found it. So this way you sort of select what you're going to do, the stuff you want, and then you choose how you want to view it. You can't view audio, obviously. You can choose different video players that you can create. Could use, VLC or Kodi or whatever. You just need to basically create a function. So if you want to extend this and create your own stuff, basically the steps would be just copy one of these functions, rename it, and then change the options here, just change that to VLC or something. And then what you would do is you would create a new variable down here, so like VLC underscore TSP, and you then have to set this to be VLC. And then down here, what you would need to do is create a new item in the case statement, so like VLC. Okay. Now the other thing I want to mention is, so for instance, do like this, VLC. I'd call that VLC, VLC, something like that, and just copy this so you can get what I'm on about. Copy this. Call that VLC. Okay. VLC. Now, the other really important thing to mention is you might be tempted to do something like this and capitalize this. Okay. Capitalize it, and you think, oh yeah, I just prefer stuff capitalized in the menu. The issue is you also have to, the case statement is case sensitive, okay? So VLC asterisk won't match capital VLC. So two ways around it. You can do like VLC, something like that. And what that's like an either or, so it will either match that or that. The other option that you have is I think it's something like this. So that's going to match so that's going to match a uppercase V or lowercase v and then VLC. So that's how you can create additional video players. I also created a script called I think it was Yank that will take YouTube URLs and then send them to Kodi. So that's another option, is that you can actually create an option that would send the URLs to Kodi. It would queue them up with taskspooler and then send them over to Kodi. So let me see if I've actually got that. Was that the one? I think it was 10 video links to Kodi. Yep. So that's another option that you could do, and it also actually has a feature in it that sometimes you get YouTube links that won't play in Kodi because they use 2 dash streams, and what this will do is, if that's the case, it would actually use FFmpeg to stream over UDP locally that stream into Kodi. So that's another thing you could do. You could use that script. Let me just set that back to how it was. So that's the sort of external player that we're creating for ytfzf that allows us to create different functions and then create a FZF prompt and pass in a list of functions we want to execute, and then use the case statement to match your selection in the menu, and then run that function on those links. So that will basically allow us to create as many different audio or video players as we like, with different options, you know, for downloading, for playing, for streaming, different players. And rather than having to remember half a dozen hotkeys to launch stuff, we've got a nice and easy to use FZF menu that just makes things a bit more convenient use. So ytfzf, and let's do let's just do DistroTube again, and again we can now just come down here, and remember, let me just do the dash thumbnails option. Let me see if I can get this to me open another terminal here and just show you one issue. It'll do this. Okay, right. So what actually happens sometimes is, as you can see here, if you run urxvt in daemon mode and you have sort of 2 terminals open, if I can get it to spawn the bug, normally the thumbnail should appear here, but if you've got 2 terminals open with urxvt in daemon mode, the thumbnail displays in the other terminal. I'll just see if I can actually get it to do that. Okay, you can see there's no image here. You started it with the -T option, but there's no image. If I bring this here, will it please show me? See if I can. You can see there. Okay, the image is being displayed in this second terminal here. So here's ytfzf, and I switch across to this terminal here. You can see it's actually being displayed in the second terminal, and that is a sort of a bug, an issue with ytfzf and terminals that use daemon mode. I noticed there's a sort of issue on it on GitHub, but I don't think the guy is going to fix that issue. So if you ever run into that, the solution is basically to close the other terminal. So if I run it now without the other terminal open, give it a second, you'll see it's working fine. Okay, all the images are showing up perfectly well. And this is URXVT, this terminal with all these images working out perfectly. But let's say if you run URXVT in daemon mode and you have a second terminal window open, sort of in the background somewhere, like I showed you with my terminal scratchpad, what happens is the video thumbnails images display in the other terminal for some reason. So that's just something I thought I'd mention that had me stumped for a little while. So that's FZF, ytfzf rather, and basically I'll put a link to the page and how you download the script, and you download the configuration file. Just change the video player, and then basically install the script, and it will then give you additional options on how you want to open the links from ytfzf in different video and audio players. And again, you can hack away at it and create your own functions to do different stuff with different options, different audio and video players. VLC, send to Kodi, use different downloaders or different audio players. And the advantage of doing it this way with the external player is we don't have to create another script that calls ytfzf. We don't have to create something called my ytfzf and then use that. We just basically replace the external video player from ytfzf with a custom command which runs this script, and then that queues up the video and audio with taskspooler and plays it one after another, no problem, and frees up the terminal so you can get on with doing other stuff while you're watching video or listening to audio. But that's all for now.